Welcome to Hot, Cold, Wet, and Dry, My Life on the Road. I'm David Cranmer, and I'll be your host for this weekly series where we'll talk about motorcycle travel. In addition to talking about my life on the road, I'd like to hear from you and your stories. Anything from favorite trips to favorite motorcycles would make for great topics in future episodes. You can send them to me at stories@hotcoldwetanddry.com, and I'll either talk about them on the podcast or possibly have you join me during an episode. $75. In and of itself, 75 is a big number. Whether you're talking about 75 years of marriage, a 75-mile bicycle ride, or living to 75, it's a big number. Now, I reached 75 this year, and it's got a special meaning to me. Back in 1968, when I was 19 years old, I got my first motorcycle, and man, I fell in love with that thing just immediately. I had 3 good friends. We traveled all over the Southeast on those motorcycles. We were hot, we were wet, we were cold, we were dry, hence the name of this channel, and we had just a fantastic time on those motorcycles. And my passion grew and grew and grew to the point that was my life. And it was my life for a long time. And back about that same time, I said, I like this so much, I want to be able to ride until I'm at least 75. Well, this year I made it. Now, those early years were all about learning how to ride, improving my skill level, kind of finding my place on the road, and learning just what it meant to be a motorcyclist and ride safely. Over the years, I've had the privilege of riding in a lot of different countries, all around the world, seen different landscapes, different cultures, interacted with a lot of different people, made some lifelong friends, and thoroughly enjoyed my travels. And riding these different cultures opened my eyes to the different cultures around the world, their different experiences in life, and how we're all basically the same. Now, as much as I loved riding, there came a point in my career when I wanted to give back to the motorcycling community, and I decided I wanted to be an MSF coach. You guys know that's the Motorcycle Safety Foundation. So I looked into it, found a local group that would sponsor me to become an instructor, went and took a very intensive training course to become certified as an instructor, and began teaching motorcycle safety. I did that for a few months, and then decided, I can do this better than what this group is doing. So my wife and I actually started a motorcycle safety training business. At our peak, we were training 600 to 800 students a year, and it was so exciting to see a new person come in, very timid, with no skills, and leave with a good basic set of skills to begin their riding career. And that was fantastic. But I got to tell you one story. Back in 2004, we were moving to California. And ironically enough, we had a student who was moving from California to Tampa, where we were, and we sold the company to him. Bit of irony there. But the funny thing was, or I won't even say it's a funny thing, the last class I taught, I saw a woman standing outside the fence, and during break I walked over to her, and she said, "Do you remember me?" Well, I certainly did. Her name was Gabrielle. French lady, very nice lady, but very timid. So we talked for a little bit, and she said, "You changed my life." I thought, wow, what do you mean I changed your life? She said, "I never had any self-confidence." And she said, after class, I'd go home at night, I'd be laying down in bed, and I'd hear your voice. I'd hear your encouragement and your support in helping me ride that motorcycle. So you changed my life. I feel so much more confident these days. And that really hit me, and that sticks with me till today, that I could actually have that kind of effect on somebody. And I'll remember that forever. At last count, I've owned 26 motorcycles during my lifetime. Everything from dirt bikes, where we started, to sport bikes and touring bikes, quirky bikes. I like motorcycles a lot of people didn't like. I had a Ducati Passo at one time, which I dearly loved, that most people didn't like. I had a Honda CX 500 Turbo, a Honda CX 650 Turbo, a 6-cylinder CBX, and on and on. But the thing was, I really liked quirky motorcycles and enjoyed riding them. And each of them taught me different lessons. Each of them gave me a different experience, and I never got tired riding any of them. I'd also toyed with getting on the racetrack. and seeing what that experience would be like. And for you guys that have been around for a while, you may remember Keith Code. Keith was an ex-racer, not terribly important in history, but a good racer. And he started something called a twist to the wrist and wrote a book about it, talking about the skills you need to ride well on the track. And he had a school in California, the Laguna Seca racetrack. I thought, aha, my favorite racetrack in the whole world, I want to take this class. So signed up for it, made a trip out there, took the class. Couple stories from it. First one was the initial laps. He said, okay, I want you to ride this track with no brakes. I want you searching for the apex, and that's the only thing I want you to do. So I said, okay, so I'll work on that. The first lap out, I'm coming on the last turn onto the home straight, and two guys from Switzerland come blowing by me, crash off into the weeds, and they're done. Well, they had traveled all the way from Switzerland, made one lap, and Keith's rule was, if you crash, you're done. And they crashed on that last turn. They were done for the weekend. But anyway, I had a great time. And one last story about that. For any of you that have wondered about knee dragging, I had never done that before. And later in the day, as my skills got better and better, I thought, okay, we're going to try sliding off the motorcycle, getting low on the ground and seeing what that feels like. Coming into turn 2 at Laguna Seca, a big wide turn on there. I'm sorry, turn 3. Big wide turn on there. Slid off the side of the motorcycle, knee this far off the ground, and I'll never forget my thought was, this feels really safe. I'm this far off the ground. How bad could it hurt if I fell off? I thought, I don't know if that's a good thought or not, but that was an experience I'll never forget. One and only time I've ever drugged my knee on the ground or got close to it. So this year I turned 75. I'm still riding, even after 400,000 miles on the road, countless countries. I still enjoy riding. I don't do nearly the mileage I used to do, but I'm still having a ball doing it. And you know, the journey was never about just reaching this goal of being 75. It was about the enjoyment, the passion, the things I learned and saw, people I met, and just the fact that I never tired of riding that motorcycle. I used to say the one thing about the motorcycle was I'm having fun as soon as I pull out of the garage. It's not like I have to go somewhere and get a tea time or something like that. As soon as I got on that bike, I was having a good time. Motorcycling has taught me to be resilient, given me countless stories, introduced me to people that became longtime friends. It's taken me to places I never thought I would see, tested me in ways that were unimaginable, and created a passion that's lasted over half a century. So do I have any regrets? No, not really. I mean, there's always more things to do. You know, I'd love to have tried trials riding, but I never lived in an area where that was a sport, so I didn't get to do that. I'd like to see the Canary Islands in Tenerife or Santorini in Greece. But when I bounce that against the things I have done, I've got no regrets. I've been very fortunate to see a lot of this world on the seat of a motorcycle, and it's been fantastic. I plan to end each of my videos with something I'm going to call Stories from the Road. Just little snippets of what I've experienced over this last half century. But to start that, we got to start with where did the first motorcycle come from? And I'm sure, like many of you, it was a struggle to get your parents to agree to that. In retrospect, I think it probably took almost a year for me to convince my parents that motorcycling was for me, and they could be assured I'd be safe. So after finally convincing them to get a motorcycle, I had some money saved up and looked, and I'd found a used one, and they said, okay, we'll take you over to look at this used motorcycle and see what you think. So we got together, drove over there, got out of the car, and in retrospect, this was a piece of junk. It was a 160 Honda Scrambler like one of my friends had, which I wanted, but I couldn't see that. All I could see was two wheels, a motorcycle, and that's what I wanted. So the guy that owned it said, do you want to go for a test ride? I said, sure, absolutely. But you got to understand, the number of times I'd been on the motorcycle at that point was exactly 0. I had no protective gear with me, boots, gloves, helmet, hadn't been on a bike, but I wanted to test ride that thing. So he gave me the keys to it, I kick-started, and took off down the road. Everything was going fine until I turned around coming back. And to this day, I still don't know what happened, but at some point I gave it full throttle, my left hand flew off the handlebars, and I was out of control going down the road. Well, through pure good luck, I was able to get the bike back under control again. got it back to the owner's house, got off it, and I wasn't scared. I was like, oh, cool, I like that. But my good parents said, we need to talk about this. And okay, so we left. They said, how much more money would you need to buy a new one? Because they realized how bad this bike was. They were blue-collar workers, didn't have a lot of money, and this was really, really generous of them to offer to do that. So sure enough, they did. So a few weeks later, we went down to the local Honda dealer, bought a brand new 1968 and a half 175 Honda Scrambler. Rode it home, didn't even install it, and thus began my motorcycle journey. So for those of you who are still on your journey, and for those of you who are still starting your journey, remember this: it's never too late to set a goal and achieve it. I made it to 75, and now it's time to set a new goal. What do you think about 80? That's a nice round number. Let's see if we can shoot for 80, and I'll keep you updated. This channel is going to be all about senior riders and the challenges we face. I hope you'll join me each week on that. So keep riding. And remember, just like so many people have said, it's not the destination, but the journey. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.